It feels so good to have lager back on the water. Now, at the end of our last episode, I mentioned that there are still things left to resolve, and I'm going to run you through what those are. Scratch, 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 scratch. Found this lovely big doobie of epoxy. It looks worse. It looks worse now.
That's 940.
What bothers me about this is to get this stuff off, I'll have to wet sand.
But first, I'm going for a swim. Good morning, little puppy. Good morning. How do you feel?
You are not coming. I just go by myself.
Pretty girl. All right, let's go.
I show you the growth on our bridle. Now, no, I cleaned the bridle yesterday. Trinidad, your growth in the water is insane.
I've seen turtles in Trinidad before, even down in Catamarans, out of Chakachakari, Scotland. Wasn't expecting to see one this morning. That was really cool. I'm back, and I genuinely do not think there's a better way to start a day than going for a swim and seeing a turtle. Maybe a dolphin. But now let's jump into what is left to do on Liger. The warranty issues and the collateral damage on Liger are not fully resolved, despite the fact that we spent almost 2 years on the hard stand. First major thing, which was something that we did agree to assist with because there was no one else here who could do it, is the rigging tension. And I'm going to cut to show you how we did that. This afternoon we are knocking off a really big warranty related job, and that is that we are doing the rigging tensioning. Now, we have all the procedures that we need and the information that we need from Robertson and Caine and Z-Spars, and most importantly we do have a tension meter. So the tension meter that we have is from Avery Weightronics, who really helped us out with getting it. It's a Dillon tension meter, which is the same one that Robertson and Caine use. And it's what really should be used to tension your rig. It's alarming, to be honest, how many riggers don't have one. So, yeah, we're going to get started on this process, and then that's done. And it will mean the boat is ready to sail, you know, once we actually have sails on. You might be wondering about our confidence checking our rig. Well, we've had this tension meter since the mast came off in Italy, buying it in response to the difficulty in finding a rigger nearby that actually had one. We used it alongside Jean-Guy from Z-Spars when he bought his out from the same brand to Gibraltar, and have made it a habit to check the rig before and after major passages, comparing the readings to our last test and the official rig settings for this model. Recently we even helped another owner sort his rig out, and when he had the work double checked by a reputable company in St. Martin, their feedback was it was really well set up and whoever did it knew what they were doing, rare for the Caribbean. So yeah, we're pretty confident that we know what we're doing.
So now they're even. We're at 76 centimeters between the pins. So now is also the exact same point. It's got too hard to turn with your hand, which is when things make sense, you're probably doing it right. Basically now, we'll do 4 turns. And then, yeah, we do 4 turns. 5.
Overkill. You what? Overkill.
Overkill.
I have no idea what he said.
He asked me what tool he wanted me to use to do up the turnbuckle.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him, is that a real question? And then he smiled. And he said it's overkill.
No, it's manly. See, these, yeah, use your muscles, not your head. Off you go.
Me, lift concrete, can't spell.
I'd be wrong. Can't spell concrete. Lift concrete, can't spell it. So we're going to take these to 2,900 because the rigging's not new. It doesn't need to be abused. So that's giving you 5 mil.
So 2 turns has moved it in 5 mil.
Yeah. So that's 730 kilos. Both were taken to hand tie it. Both of them happen to be exactly the same, 76 centimeters between pins.
Yep.
On the outer shrouds. And now we're 740 odd kilos on this side. Now we're going to do this side at 4 turns. She filming you. She fucking filming you. Yeah,
Oh,
you
gosh.
It's
like a velociraptor, I can hear it coming.
She's looking like, did she really, Dad? Like she just filmed
Where
her
is
ass.
Did I film you without your consent?
Yeah. No consent.
Careful, careful, careful. Yeah, so as you would have noticed, Rose actually not a huge fan of being filmed when she knows.
She hates it.
Same as if you pull out your camera phone to take a photo of her, good luck trying to get her to look. People ask us, oh, is it okay to take a photo of Rose? Well, like, it's okay, but you'll see what she'll let you do. Hey, you're a fickle girl.
We're doing this on pretty much flat water as well.
Yeah, it's nice and calm here.
You'll notice, like, even with wake, it'll start fluctuating up to 40 kilos, 50 kilos. Sorry. Count, I'll just hold it.
No. I was trying to film.
So that's 970, 970. Because it will be pulling against the other side. Check the other side. That's 940.
Cool.
Which is an insignificant variance. So they've pulled each other in.
Sweet. Now you just got to tighten it till you get to tension.
Yeah, so now...
Do you want the deck light on?
So now they're both even, which is reflected in the tension. Yeah, turn the deck light on.
This is the rigid deck light that we've talked about in action. So kind of makes it a little daylight down here.
Why would you be in the middle of the ocean and have some emergency going on, like your furler falls apart and your sail undoes in 30 knots of wind, and not want to see what's going on?
The other thing that we added was, as well as our anchor light at the top of the mast, we've also put one on the helm roof. And last night the guys came back from a cheeky pub visit at Patches over at Peak Yachting Services, and Tynan said that it was hard to see the anchor light on the top of the mast, but as soon as they rounded the bay they could see the one on the helm. So that was just put there just to make us a little bit more visible at night time. We are stopping this for tonight, and we're going to have to finish tomorrow, which is Christmas morning. The guys were moving side to side, slowly tensioning the rig up, checking it with the tension meter. It was still under tension, but as they were crossing from one side to the other, we heard like this metallic noise, and the shroud on the port side shook. We think what it was is a pin seating itself up the mast, but it's really dark tonight, and we've concerned that if we go up the mast now just to check everything, that we'll miss something with the reflection of the torches off the aluminium and the metal. So we're going to wait till first thing tomorrow morning, and we're going to do it then. We still have a lot of the safety lines on, so it's not a big deal. You know, the mast is not going to fall off. It's just annoying because we were hoping to finish this tonight. Instead, we'll be doing it on Christmas. It's Christmas morning and Tynan is all harnessed up. He's about to head up the mast, and we decided that since he's going up there, he may as well do a check from top to bottom and also install our flag halyard rope that we forgot about while we were on the hard stand. While I'm in here, it gives me a chance to pull off all the protective tape that got left behind in the helm. This one's going to be fun. What's wrong? I'll bring him down, I promise.
I think it was just that pin just with that, when we got to that,
Just the right tension.
yeah, it just went
Yeah.
dunk.
Yeah, seated in. Alright, cool.
It might happen again
Yeah.
because it's still hanging out.
Yeah, so well that's good to know. Alright, you want to come inside? It's hot.
It is hot.
That is good news then. It sounds like just pin seating, which is what we thought it was last night, and everything else looks great too. Plus we did get the phallic halyard down, so now we can actually have our Marshall Islands flag and our Trinidad flag coming off the spot it's intended to, not just cable tied to the topping line, which is how we had them just to get out here. So, successful morning, time for coffees. What is it?
2440. The other side.
Yeah.
It's about.
The rigging tension is not the only thing we've been doing. Essentially our days have been wake up, work, swim, work, swim, work, swim, work, 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 end of the day. Some of that work is putting things away and finding homes for it, because we kind of just slam stuff onto the boat so we could leave. And so much of our stuff was in storage right up until the last minute because the work was still going. You know, we had things in 4 different storage areas and everything on the boat was just not in its right place. Where, as we're putting things away, we are assessing whether we really need it. A lot of it's been donated to other cruises that we don't need. And then just dealing with things like our cushions after being in storage for almost 2 years are filthy. So trying to clean them, clean the boat as we go. Starting in the rear cockpit, something pretty obvious, no table. Don't know what's going to happen with that. Sorry, I've just spotted my friend's husky. I think there's might be 3 of them have got out again. They like to go on merry adventures because they're huskies. And we all know that huskies are like Australian shepherds. They're absolute little buggers when they want to be. Anyway, so cable. As you would have seen in our last video, we discovered just before we were going to install it that the brand new table we'd sent was littered with blisters, and when we opened a couple of them with a bottle opener, there was dry fiberglass underneath. We are not taking a table that is covered in dry fiberglass and blisters on the boat, especially when that table weighs so much that it takes like 3 adult men to lift it up. So we're going to have to find another solution to that. For now though, we don't have a table, which makes it harder to work out here and organize ourselves. At the back here we obviously have our doors. Now, quick story for those of you who don't know, the entire window frame and 2 doors all had to end up being repainted. The door frame had collateral damage from previous workers that needed to be addressed, but then it was discovered that the bond strength between the blue 3M painter's tape and the black paint was stronger than the paint and the aluminium door frame. Travelopia opted to follow their idea of repainting with all grip, but didn't bother to supply anyone with experience painting all grip, which then turned into Trent paying Nino to resolve this warranty issue, as he does have experience with all grip, which the repair team were fine with, and even supplied some of their people to help Nino, while Travelopia continued to refuse to pay for Nino's work, meaning Trent paid for his own warranty. Parts of the door were removed for the painting, mechanisms and such, and they went missing, and security footage reflects that they were accidentally thrown in the bin by one of the repair team members. This was discovered within a few days of it happening. Leopard organised new parts to be sent out, but when they arrived the day before launch, they were not the right parts. This one here, we can lock it closed, it cannot be locked open. That's because the entire mechanism that bolts there, that holds it closed, is missing. And then there's also other parts like here. The base plate for that's missing, so that just sort of dangles around in there. I have no idea how the wrong door parts were sent, because not only was our boat checked, it was also then compared by the people who were here to Zulu Dawn, which is a 2023 Leopard 45. So I don't understand, no one has told us. I doubt they will tell us, but now we are still living with a door that cannot be locked open, and that is frustrating because that is one of the main airflows through the saloon. Next to this window, you'll see something doesn't look quite right. That's because where those dots are, there should be a piece of trim. But when that piece of trim was removed to allow for the proper repainting of the door frame, the repair team essentially destroyed it, came up with no plan on how to fix it other than stick the broken one back down, and now we somehow have to figure out how to deal with it. Fun fact, that laminate was discontinued a few years ago, and we have no idea where to source the correct coloured edging. Another problem, which is a huge problem that remains, is the collateral damage, especially to our deck. I'm going to cut to some footage of that to show you what I mean. It's something that we are uncovering and assessing over time because it takes time to wash the boat. Today we have been continuing to work on getting Ligar back from construction site to home. So we cleared some more stuff in the rear cockpit, put away all our diving gear and sorted it out. Spares went into deep storage, that sort of thing. Tynan put the registration stickers back on because our original ones were damaged by people working in the area. They came off, they never put new ones on. So when we left yesterday, it was actually just whiteboard marker. We had some spares though, printed back when we were in Gibraltar. So those have gone on now, which is cool. And we're just working on the forward cockpit because we're trying to get this cleaned so then we can put the cushions that belong here, and then we should almost be at the point where we can start using the roof. The thing is, while we're cleaning, it's just like mind-boggling the stuff that we're finding. The first repair team that was out here did quite a bit of collateral damage to the boat. They then had 7 months to get that fixed. They sent out a repair team, and so much of that collateral damage is still here, and some of the things we're finding are just so absurd. So let me show you. So like this is our front step, and that's all gel coat. So now we're going to sit there and scrape gel coat off the front. Just in front of it, we've got all these scratches, which were done with a razor blade. They look like the signature of the first contractor, in my opinion. So just looking at this area, scratch, 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 scratch. Just found this lovely big doobie of epoxy. Got to try and get that off now. And Tynan's is aspirated. You recognise that one?
Yeah, I know when that happened.
Who did it?
JS.
Why? What were they doing?
They were doing fiberglassing in the front here in the windows and that.
Yeah.
And it got pointed out multiple times. They even put blue tape around it.
There's no blue tape there anymore. Like most of your blue tape and protection, it's gone missing.
But yeah, because nobody wanted to touch it because it was like this big blob of epoxy, and then somebody put cardboard into it.
Yeah.
So it was just big cardboard epoxy reinforced mess.
You look at the step, and again, all these scratches. Same as that, we have a lovely star pattern across a lot of the deck, complemented by scratches too. There's still epoxy on this, which was like reported to them a very long time ago, so now I'm gonna have to clean that.
If people were to have a look at how much money was spent attempting to rectify this boat,
and it's still not done.
like,
It's absurd. So we're gonna keep going because we're trying to make this place livable and functional so we can use the freaking boat. I just finished cleaning up here, and I was wondering, like, where's my cleaning buddy gone? And then I saw him.
I've seen a bigger light.
He's not cleaning anymore, he's escaped with the dog.
I told him, I gave him a mission to go see if there's crab holes over there in the corner.
Okay, have fun you two.
Nah.
I very sillily decided to wash two of the panels at the back of the boat that had been annoying me because they were dirty. But now that they're clean, they're kind of annoying me even more. Now, we got told this was just pencil mark left over. I can assure you, it's not. It's been scrubbed multiple times, and when you actually come in close and look at it, it's just scratching in the than the actual deck itself. And it's even worse because that half has it and that half doesn't. That panel, they redid the whole panel, and have a look. So that's not dirt, that's the deck itself. Again, not dirt, it's the deck itself. That panel there, the porosity was so bad that they needed to redo it, but they ran out of track marks, so just did a temporary repair. This one here was also redone, and again, the porosity is just outrageous. The diamonds are literally just cracking and popping apart. And to do this repair, they actually had to take this rudder cap off and drop the entire rudder. Like, to have a boat go in for over 20 months of warranty repair, months of which they didn't even bother turning up for, while continuing to tell you that they're coming soon. So Trent had to cancel his holiday to America to see people he cared about, and I couldn't go home, and I needed to be home last year. It just pisses you off. And then also to be told, well, if you want it back to the way that it was, you'll never leave. These panels above me that are under the Traveller, they were removed for warranty, but during the removal process, a number of them were cracked and damaged. They have been handed to different people. Some have had a bit of repairs, some have been repaired and then re-damaged by someone else. And now, when we were launched, none of them were up. So Tynan has been spending his time going through each one, fixing them up and installing them. He's got only a couple to go, but one of the last ones is one of the worst ones. It has gel coat damage and cracks, and then the ceiling around where it is installed is also damaged. So luckily, well, not luckily, sensibly, when Trent stepped in to organise our own gel coat shipment last year, he kept some of that aside, so now we do actually have the gel coat to repair it. But, you know, I mean, it's not our damage, it's not our fault, but now we're going to deal with it. So you can see it goes all the way in.
This one as well. You can see this got broken in a few places. So that's all been reglassed. That's all been reglassed. This has all been reglassed. Some nicks and pinholes and stuff that I need to sand out, wet sand out and polish it back up.
Stuff like that which is visible is from where they've tried to remove it. There's another one. Another one, and they just kind of travel all the way down.
They had been given to multiple people and asked to be repaired so they could go back up. And every time we asked somebody, we'd always find them just somewhere under the boat or just never touched and ignored. So now I'm having to do it on the water, and I don't really have anywhere to do gel coat. Usually I'd put a plastic sheet down over our back table, but unfortunately we don't have a back table now. They were fiberglassing and grinding and everything up under here, and they put epoxy just everywhere.
There.
There's just drips and drabs of epoxy all over the roof.
Oh, might be able to fingerprint whoever did that one. Wow, the epoxy fairies strike again.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, yep, that done come off. Got to get the sail fixed.
dragged the mainsail and damaged it. Yeah. Like, what about all the other edges? Like, we've not even inspected it properly.
Looking around Liger and the state that she's currently in, I really do think that it's likely we're going to be finding more collateral damage. The way I'm handling it is I'm cleaning areas, and as I go, I'm documenting what I'm finding. In all fairness, Leopard did offer a cleaning team, but that sort of arose in the last week. We were painting bottom paint, so we can't have chemicals running down the hull. And in trying to prepare to leave, it would have created more problems than it would have solved, especially given, despite multiple requests, we couldn't give any information about who would actually be coming to clean the boat. Leopard also offered to then wash the boat straight after launch, but there was stuff everywhere. Like, it was not tenable to wash the boat properly at that point. And also, you know, that was such a huge week. We were exhausted. We motored around to our friend's mooring, put the boat on, had dinner, and went to bed. I don't know if the offer to wash the boat still stands. We'll be in Trinidad a little longer. But what we won't have happening is a group of random people sourced by the yard that we've not vetted, coming on the boat and creating a situation where fingers could be pointed by everyone on who's responsible for various scratches and damage. Yeah, a lot of very fine detailing to see what problems can clean off and what things like epoxy, scratches, and, you know, other collateral damage we find. The other big job we've got left to do, really, that I haven't spoken about is, that I know about, is the sails. They have to go back up. The sails, we need to put the mainsail and the genoa and then run all the lines back to the helm. So we were just waiting till after New Year's to do that. So we might even start that as soon as tomorrow or the next day. As I'm sure many of you have inferred, you do not yet have the complete picture of what went wrong with this boat and what happened on the hard stand. There is a lot of serious stuff that has been left untold. But now that we are floating again, I can start looking through that and figuring out the best way to share that information, because some of these things were extremely serious. They took a long time to rectify. Other things were just completely unprofessional and never should have happened. I always said that we needed to have the complete story to guide what we publish, that took into account how Leopard made the hell we've been through right. Some months ago, Trent offered them a restart point for negotiation on settling the overall picture after previous discussions paused, including a partial refund of the hull. Now we've lost even more of our lives, gone through more nasty experiences, and lost more opportunities, such as Trent losing the chance to become a qualified pilot for the second time. After this long, the way we've been treated, and the problems we've been left to deal with, I feel they should be embarrassed to have taken the money for this hull. To me, the lack of recognition on a corporate level of the widespread extreme damage, the poor workmanship, and subsequent arduous, drawn-out warranty process has done to our lives, and the failings that have taken place, is a clear sign to me that greater accountability and transparency is needed. Our plans moving forward. Well, for now there's still work on the boat that needs to be addressed before we can move anywhere, like the door parts and the sails. My understanding is that at this stage, Leopard have said that they will address the blister on the roof and some track mark, although I'm not sure which track mark, somewhere at our convenience. They said they're looking into the missing door parts, and we're waiting on feedback about some of the other issues we've told them about, like the table that had the dry fiberglass, and an air conditioner that was collateral to a stray voltage issue. At times, it feels like these repairs are just being dragged out. There was a period of about 6 months between the 2 repair teams that they sent, and in that time, no one was working on the boat but us and Nino, who Trent's paid out of his own pocket. A period where we were continually under the impression that they would be coming soon, and as a result, felt the need to be here, because I think it's been made abundantly clear that we can't trust people that we don't know to be fixing our home without our oversight. Too many cut corners, too many failed repair attempts, too much collateral damage, and too many attempts to hide mistakes. Then when they did turn up, they didn't finish. And without our 5 or so months of tireless work before they turned up, this boat would not be on the water right now. They strung us along saying things like their team leader was having visa issues, which would mean that there's only one competent person that they had access to in the world who could oversee what was relatively mild remaining issues, or they were dragging it out. I don't buy this excuse because there's always other options. No matter what you think of us as people, this is the fundamental reality. Trent paid good money for a CE certified Category A ocean-going sailing vessel under certain terms of sale, which included asking about things like, had the window issues and the vertical hull cracks been resolved at a production level? Instead of then using the boat for its intended purpose, we then endured years of warranty repairs, rectifying hundreds of issues that revealed themselves over time. I have no idea what Robertson and Caine, Leopard Catamarans, and the billion-dollar investment funds that own them think that life is worth. So let me ask you, what do you think the last years of your 20s and the start of your early 30s are worth? I've seen in the comments a few people who have called on Leopard to just give us a new boat. And while I really appreciate the words of support and the thoughts behind it, I gotta be honest with you, I couldn't do it. After the experience that we've had with our boat and the things that we've seen on the other newer Leopards who came to Trinidad as essentially a random sample, and then also hearing and seeing issues that other first owner Leopards have had, where these owners have reached out to us directly and privately, I couldn't trust that a new hull would not result in another hellish warranty experience that would lead us tethered to these companies for even more years of our lives. Not to mention the huge range of associated issues like the replacement of the aftermarket that's been done to this boat, all the upgrades that we've done, the time frame it would happen in, where we would even live, what would happen to Rose, and also what would happen to everything of ours that's on this boat, because this boat is our only home. Based on discussions had with them last year when they offered us a sum of money that actually wouldn't have even paid for the repairs, I would assume that it would also come with a non-disclosure agreement, which would mean if there are any problems with this new hull, we wouldn't even be able to talk about them. Now let's talk cruising plans. So we do hope to be out of Trinidad by the end of January. A long-term goal for us that we've always talked about is getting to Asia. And while I try to remain upbeat, the last few years have taken a very serious toll on all of us, and we are not in the headspace to be able to cross the Pacific this year and enjoy it. So I don't see that happening. I see that being pushed back to 2026, which is very disappointing because when we bought the boat, the timeline originally was that we would be doing that adventure in 2023. Once we leave Trinidad, we're looking at heading up towards St. Martin, living a very easy, convenient life on anchor for a little bit, and then making our way hopefully to the Bahamas, because that is where we wanted to spend most of this Caribbean season before it got eaten up with dealing with warranty and collateral. I think though before no time it will have rolled back around to the Atlantic hurricane season. So if you have somewhere that you would suggest we spend it in the Caribbean or Atlantic region, let us know. We are open to ideas. Please put them down in the comments. So that's it for now. Remember, if you want more, there's always our member platforms on Patreon and YouTube, as well as our Facebook page, which I update. And we have a blog too, which I am trying to dedicate a little bit more time to this year, now that we are not living on the hard stand.